Welcome everybody, good evening, welcome to the Zohar class. Tonight portion is Parashat Bo, in the meaning of come with me. In the Torah portion, last week we learned about the first 7 plagues, and this portion we're going to study about the remaining 3 plagues that Egypt experienced. As we spoke last week, the plagues and Egypt is a beautiful story, but last week we learned that Egypt is in a metaphor for ignorance, for not knowing. Everything we suffer, everything that painful to us in this life is because lack of knowledge. And Mitzrayim is a metaphor for ignorance, for not knowing. And as we know, 97% of our mind and consciousness is dark. We don't know. We don't know. We don't have answers for everything. And in this portion, we're going to even take it further. But before we're going to get there, yesterday was the Hebrew new moon of Shvat. Yesterday we started the new sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign for it. Does anybody knows what's the sign for Aquarius? Deli. In Hebrew, Deli, it's a vessel, it's a bucket full of water, and the water is pouring out of the bucket. The Kabbalists explain to us that it's talking about wisdom, chokhmah, and understanding. Do you remember that the book of Shemot that we started 2-3 weeks ago stands for wisdom? So all the portion of the book Shemot is trying to teach us wisdom, chokhmah, to bring light to the ignorance, to bring wisdom to the darkness within our mind. And it's not by accident that the sign of this month is Aquarius, is a bucket of water, and water is pouring out. And the Kabbalists explain that the water they're talking about is the light of Binah. Is the light of Binah, is the blessing, is the beracha, is the wisdom that we need in our life, is available in this month. Like Farima June said in her class, it's a month that has a potential of all the blessings, all the beracha. Is the water, is opening to us. The water stands for blessings. It's available to us. It's pouring down. But if you look at the chart that I gave you, and we studied this a few weeks ago, it's Aquarius is on the left column. Left column stands for Gevurah, for judgment. It means it's not for free. You have to work for it. You have to work very hard for it. For all those blessings that are available for us, in a form of potential. So, all the blessings are available, but we have to work for it. If you remember, we had a class, we talk about the left column and the right column. Abraham represents the right column, but we didn't get the blessing from Abraham. Isaac represents the left column, but we were fighting to receive blessing from Isaac. Jacob and Esau, they were fighting. Who's going to receive the blessing from Isaac? We didn't receive blessing from Abraham. So Aquarius is on the left column also. We want the blessing of Aquarius. We want the beracha of Aquarius. But we have to work very, very hard on it. This energy, this blessing, this healing, this sustenance is available this month. But at the same time, Shvat considered a negative month, a tough month. Because again, we have to go through the challenges, we have to overcome the obstacles, We have to change ourselves. Another June on Tuesday night, he talked for more than 1 hour about changing ourselves. This is the month of changing. The blessing, the barakah that's available in this month is going to come to us only through changing ourselves. Changing our essence. You know, I see we have some few students, new students. In the past classes, we always mention that everything that we need, everything that we want is not coming from the outside. We can't, wait for 1,000 years for something to come from the outside. It's not going to come. We have to come from inside. That God, that Creator, whoever we are praying to, is within us. His extension, a part of Him is within us. So we need to awaken that energy within us. And that's going to come only by changing ourselves, by revealing that godliness within us. So one more time, it's a wonderful month, full of blessing, but we need to work hard on ourselves. Nothing outside, not working harder at our job, not working on any relationships or trying harder to solve our issues or find a cure for a disease. This month is we need to work on ourselves. What part of ourselves we have to work on? The Torah is amazing. The stories of the Torah, last week we mentioned it too, because we saw the movies, the 10 Commandments in a Hollywood movie. Each time we talk about Egypt and freedom and Moshe and Pharaoh, right away the story, the movie come to our head. But in reality, it's totally, it's a different consciousness. The Pharaoh is the Pharaoh is the ego, is the stubbornness, the hard heart that we have within us. And the Moshe is representing the Creator to free us from this evil that's controlling our life. Are we within 10 minutes?
Exactly.
So, Mitzrayim, if we break down the word Mitzrayim, which stands for darkness, or stands for ignorance, is spelled like this. If Mem Tzadik Resh Yud and Mem Sofit. If you look at the letters in the middle, is Yetzer. Yud Tzadik Resh means your nature. Change your nature. That's another secret about the word Mitzrayim. It's not a country. It's talking about changing our nature. Yetzer in Hebrew means nature. So, through these 10 plagues, Moshe and the Creator try to free us from this force that keeping us in bondage. We are not free. We are under influence of this negative force. To give a good example about what are we talking about, who is this Pharaoh? What is this Pharaoh within us? It's a tough example, but it's going to hit home. God forbid a person smokes a lot. Go to a doctor. They make a X-ray of his lung. They show his lung is all black. It's all full of, evil. And the doctor tell the guy, listen, if you keep smoking, you're going to die. What the guy's going to do, he's going to come home and he's going to continue smoking. What about gambling? What about drugs? What about, a loved one that, we stay away from? Who's this power within our head telling us stay away from loved one or anybody. You know, before the class we talked about that we all won. You know, eventually, if you go back, we all won. Now we are in a world of separation, but we all won. Who is this force that's telling me stay away from this guy? Don't call that guy. Keep doing these bad habits. Keep being selfish. You know, keep staying stubborn about your wrong belief system. So, you know, in reality, we are in prison. We are under bondage for this force, this voice in our head that don't let us be free. It's telling us, stay angry, stay hateful, separate yourself, you know, you're a victim, you know, you are right and the whole world is wrong. You know, so who's this force? Who's this guy? You know, through the Torah, we want to learn. You know, oftenly they ask me all the time, what are you guys doing? What is Zohar class? What you guys are doing? Are you guys studying how to pray? I tell them, no, you're studying about ourselves, how we can improve our life. Don't forget, we are in a month of Chokhmah, we are in a month of wisdom, we are in a book of wisdom. So there is a dark place in our consciousness. There is an evil ruler that tells me keep damaging myself, keep separating myself from other people. Be stubborn and don't listen to anybody and limit yourself. So now through this class, with the help of Torah and Zohar and Rabbi Shimon and Moshe Rabbeinu, we're going to study this force. First we have to find out who is this force and how we can eliminate it. So we have reached our time. I think I got your curiosity. You can join the class or listen to the rest of the class in eresculturecenter.org. Thank you. Are we good? Good subject? We know what we are talking about, where we are going? You know, this is the only portion that the Kabbalistic Torah draw the human body in the page, and he put it according to the 10 Sefirot. And it says that the top 3 Sefirot, the Keter, Chokhmah, Bina, rules the other Sefirot. Same thing with our body. Our wisdom and our understanding and all the intelligence is ruling our body. Whatever happens in our body, the source of it is in our head. You remember last week we studied about the 10 plagues, that the numerical value of all of them become Rosh. Whoever was not here last week, I highly recommend to listen to last week's lesson. So our head is the master, is ruling our body. The Kabbalists explain that all the diseases, all the accidents, all the misfortunes, all the so unlucky that happen in our life, the source is in our head. We are the cause of all of those diseases and misfortunes and unluckiness and bad beauty is all in our head. One of the classes we spoke about, there is no such a thing as lucky and unlucky. Who determines who's lucky and who's unlucky? Or the Kabbalists explain, you know, 2 people, they have the same disorder, they give them the treatment, one of them gets better, the other one doesn't get better. Same treatment, same disease, but on some people work, on some people doesn't work. So the Kabbalists and the Torah explain that it's all have to do with what's going on in our consciousness, what's going on in our head. Who's in charge? Is it the Paro is in charge? the ruler of darkness, the ruler of ignorance, or we're gonna let the Torah and the Creator to run the show. So, and you know, the Rabbi Beck, the Kabbalist, he also give the example of this horrible disease that I don't like to mention its name. He says, you know, in the physical world, we don't have solution for all the issues. There is no solutions for accidents. There is no solution for lucky or unlucky. There is no solution for some diseases. So how can we fix them? And they explain only by fixing our conscience, our head. That horrible disease. No force in the world can fix it. Only spirituality, and we experience it so many times. Only by changing your belief system, we can cure this disease. Again, it's the game of darkness and light. If there is a darkness, only by light you can eliminate it. If there is ignorance, only with wisdom you can solve the problem. So, and there was another lesson is that we are so consumed all the time with taking care of our body, being comfortable, having enough wealth, having enough health, being selfish about our body, but we don't take care of our consciousness, our mind, our chokhmah, our education, our wisdom. This body is going to be healthy and happy when the master, the ruler, is going to be healthy and happy. There is one example, we're going to get to it later. You know, the Egypt thing did happen. It's not only a story in the Torah. What the Egyptians used to practice? Mummification. Why? Because they want the body to live forever. They want to be selfish forever. They didn't care about the mind. They care only about the body. When Moshe approached Pharaoh, he told him, you know, yeah, Adonai sent me. He says, I don't know Adonai, I know Elohim. He says, I know the physical world because Elohim, Aleph Lamed Yud Hey Mem, stands for nature. He says, I know the nature, I know the limits of the nature, I know the rules of the nature. I don't know about Adonai, I don't know about the spiritual world. Because, and this is what the Pharaoh is within us teaching us. It's all about this world. It's all about you. It's all about your money. It's all about your properties. It's about if you are right. And Moshe come and teach us in this portion, don't be so concerned about your body. You know, be concerned about your head. The head is the ruler, not the body. And this mummification is an amazing thing, you know, because the Egyptians they didn't care about the head. They want to make the body last forever. Just keep feeding the body. But the Torah comes and tells us you have to bring wisdom to your head. All the health, all the happiness, all the success, all the blessings that's available in this month is going to come by switching the gears in our head from darkness to light, from Pharaoh to Moshe, from Elohim to Yud He Vav He, from limited world to the unlimited world. Before the class we talked, stop believing in death and sickness and darkness. You pay attention to my language for the past few years, so stop paying attention to the dark. Let's switch to the goodness and the light. So what is this 10 plagues? Before I mentioned that this system doesn't work with punishment. You remember, they said there is no punishment in this world. It's yes and no. There is no punishment for our soul.
Sorry.
It's okay. We're going to talk about a good point, so we're not going to let it distract us. So there is punishment in this system, but the punishment for who? For Mitzrayim and for Pharaoh. There is a punishment for ego. There is punishment for selfishness. But there is no punishment for goodness, good heart. There is no punishment for love. There is no punishment for caring and sharing and going out of yourself. So the pain and the suffering and the misfortune is a punishment not to us. It's to the Pharaoh, to the ego. It's trying to teach us a lesson. Each time that Egypt and the Pharaoh got hit by a plague, so they ask Pharaoh, are you going to let us go? He says, no, I'm not going to let you go. What does it mean in our life? Each time there is an accident, each time there is, God forbid, a health issue, it's a sign. It's a sign that want to tell us you are too much into darkness, you are too much into selfishness, you are too much into the body. You need to make a choice. You need to wake up and make a choice and switch the consciousness to the light. So there is punishment to the system, but it's only to the ego. It's only to the me. It's only to the bad characters that we have. It's only to the negative speech and character and behavior we have. Our soul, our good essence never gets punished. So the story is beautiful, but the Torah is only about the consciousness. We don't want to fall into the stories of the Torah. It's all about the consciousness. So if the story is about the consciousness and it's about our head, how does it work, these 10 plagues? Last week we had 7 plagues, right? So these 7 plagues from last week within our head, it's a beautiful lesson, it falls into our 2 eyes, our 2 ears, our 2 nostrils, and our mouth. If you add them up, we have 7. So the plagues, the 7 first plagues comes out to the bad and negative speech that we have. Lashon hara. How many times, how many years, how many Bet Knesset, how many rabbis says don't do Lashon hara? But there is somebody in our heads give us the pleasure to keep saying Lashon hara, right? That's the Pharaoh. We know it's bad. We know it's wrong. We know it's harmful. Judging is the worst thing. We know it's wrong. We know it has consequences, but we're still doing it. It's not our soul that's telling us to do it. It's the Pharaoh within us feeding us, giving us the pleasure, the momentary pleasure that keep doing it. So, last week we didn't go through the plagues one by one, but maybe this is something we should do next year, how to bring down these 10 plagues. So the first 7 plagues within our head is to our speech, the way we talk negatively, the way we listen to philosophies and ideas and gibberish that doesn't belong to a Jewish neshama and Jewish soul. Our eyes, what we are looking at, how we are judging people, how, we don't look with chesed, with kindness at people, how we judge people. So the first 7 plagues is to correct the senses that we have within our head. It's not an amazing lesson? And our nose is a question that I always have. What kind of a part our nose playing on this system? In English it's beautiful. We say this deal doesn't smell right, or this idea doesn't smell good, or this person it doesn't smell right. So it's like an intuition. It's like a ruach. In Hebrew they call it ruach. When we breathe, we bring in ruach. This is when we judge a situation or person by their character, by the ruach aspect of it. So now this week starts with the 3 plagues and the 3 remaining plagues. And the 3 remaining plagues is in between our skull, which is our wisdom, chokhmah, our bina, which is understanding, and the keter is the belief system. The 3 remaining plagues, which is the locus on the bina, the darkness on chokhmah, and the firstborn on the keter. And to the 7 first plagues, God told Moshe, go do this and this, and with Aaron, and they done it. Somehow we can, on a physical level, stop our speech. We can train our eyes to look in a better way. We can put ourselves in a position to hear positive things to make us be elevated. But when it comes to chokhmah, bina, and keter, the highest level of our consciousness and understanding, how the Torah starts, God tell Moshe, boy, I'm going to come with you, come with me. There is no way we can conquer the top 3 within ourselves. We need the help of Moshe. We need the help of the Torah, Zohar. And we need the help of the Creator. Yeah, the Loal 7, with the psychology classes, there's a lot of wisdom out there that we can eliminate. But when it's come to top 3, the Torah says, the God tells Moshe, come with me, I'll come with you. Let's walk together. Let's go destroy this force. In reality, we can watch our speech, we can watch the way we look at people, but we don't want to change ourselves. We don't want to face what's wrong within our consciousness. We are afraid. We are afraid to change it. We are afraid to face the truth, that certain behavior within us is not right. So that's why this portion says, I come with you. God says, I come with you. Let's go deal with this issue together. And the Zohar says, when Moshe walked with God and he saw this, last year we read the Zohar about it. He saw this huge crocodile, a dinosaur, that his root was connected to the original snake from Garden of Eden. And Moshe was scared. He says, there is no way I can deal with this force within my head. Ask yourself. We are so good into judging everybody else's characters because we see it. But we don't want to look into ourselves. We are afraid. We run away to judging ourselves, our behavior. Why I keep acting in a negative way? Why I'm disconnecting myself from certain people? Why I'm constantly jealous? Why I'm angry? Why I'm hateful? We don't want to deal with it. We are afraid. We walk away from confronting ourselves. That's why we need Moshe's help in this portion and the Creator's help. So these 3 plagues that starts with the locus, arbe in Hebrew. If you're gonna learn about these 3 steps, so hopefully we can confront this Pharaoh within us. The locust, what happened with the plague of locusts? The locust came, arbe in Hebrew, malach in Farsi, and ate everything that was left in Egypt. After all the 7 plagues, Egypt was in total destruction. But what's the character of Malach or the locust? It's everything, all the leftovers. So billions of them came and they ate everything. And they left Egypt with no food, with no trees, with no sustenance whatsoever. Do you remember how the book of Shemot started? It says there was a new Pharaoh and he forgot about Yosef. Who brought all the sustenance to Egypt? Who brought all the food to Egypt? Who brought all the wealth and happiness and the food to Egypt? Yosef. Beracha. So when the Torah says the new Pharaoh forgot about Yosef, and the consequence was the plague of Arbel that ate everything that Yosef created. What is the lesson for us? Forgetting to appreciate. Forgetting to appreciate. Forgetting to appreciate people, events, situation, communities that in the past bring us blessing, bring us sustenance, bring us joy and happiness and goodness. According to the Zohar portion this week, every good person in our past, every good event in our past, it's not a channel that was closed. It was not a channel that is done with. In a spiritual world, there is no past and present. Past and present is one. If somebody did something good to you 20 years ago, 30 years ago, that channel of light, that channel of energy is still available to us today. But we just have to appreciate. We just have to remember. We just have to acknowledge that person or event or the place that sometimes bring us happiness, health, and joy and goodness. If we disconnect ourselves from that person, that event, or that place, we are disconnecting part of goodness within ourselves. It's amazing that the Zohar says, if you feel sad, if you feel worried, if you feel challenged, if you feel bothered some days, somehow maybe because you've forgotten somebody good in your life from the past. Somebody that's done something good for you, and you forgot about him. So that channel of light is closed for us at that moment. Can you imagine a day? I know, we had a class that we're so busy, we're so consumed with our everyday life. Who remembers somebody did something good to me 2 days ago? Are we going to remember somebody done to me many years ago? Can you imagine if you remember and appreciate every single good thing that happened to you through your life? What a beautiful day you're going to have. Can you feel the energy of that event? Can you feel the energy of that person? So, part of our consciousness is dark, part of our consciousness is ignorance, because we've forgotten about the good people in our life, good events, good places, good memories. They use this in psychology, try to, when we want to meditate, we always say, remember a good vacation you had, or remember a good place you went to. So, that channel of blessing, that channel of goodness, that channel of light, beracha, that once was open to us, it's still available, it's still in a potential. If we remember to appreciate, to connect, to recognize and to be aware of that situation and person or event. If you are stuck in certain situation, if we are not moving forward, if the issue in hand doesn't get solved, maybe we've forgotten about the blessing. Remember, this system, the way it works, we always get the cure before we hit the challenge or issue. Somehow, some way in our past, a person was a channel of light to us. And maybe we are stuck today because we forgot that connection. Do you know the religious people go around Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem, Baruch 100 Baruch Hashem a day, 1,000 Baruch Hashem? Why? What's so Baruch Hashem about a tough day? But maybe they don't know it. But it's embedded in our system. I remember my Creator. I remember His blessings. I remember the barakah He gave me. I recognize the life I have. I recognize, the family, the friends, whatever I have. I am aware of that channel of blessing. So, if we go back and remember everybody, maybe we can't contact them, but at least we can appreciate what they've done for us. That channel is going to open to us again. Are we good? We clear about this? So, what is the fair on here between us? Who's this negative guy? Forget about the guy from 20 years ago. Forget about the guy from 10 years ago. Let me give you a good show on TV. Let me take you to a bar and have a good time. Take care of your body. Forget about the people in your past. That's what the Pharaoh tells us. That's what the ego tells us. Forget about the past. In Mitzrayim, in darkness, under the Elohim, the limited nature, there is past and present. But in the spiritual world, there is no past and present. It's all one, like we talked about before the class. If you lost somebody, they're not gone, they're here. But it's our belief system. Let's read about the second, the ninth plague. The ninth plague was the Chokhmah, and what was the plague? Darkness. Thank you. I highly recommend, before you come to the classes, grab a Torah and study about the Torah portion, or you can listen to last year's class. This way you prepare more. So, what is the plague of darkness? The Torah is talking about the darkness came all around the world. No more day, no more night. It's only darkness. Even if you light a candle, it didn't have no light. And the darkness was not only for the Egyptians, for some of the Bnei Israel also experienced the darkness. Doesn't matter if you light a match or you light a candle, it was totally dark. And it says it was such a thick darkness that people died from this darkness. They died from this darkness. And some of Bnei Israel too. But on a spiritual Bnei Israel, it says they had light. Let's bring it to our everyday life. I'm sure you met a person or you've seen a person that he go through a challenge, he go through an experience. You tell him, oh my God, you look like 5 years older. You look like 10 years older. What happened to you? Why you got so old in such a short time? And at the same time, there are people that they don't age. They don't age. They go through challenges, they go through obstacles, but they don't age. So, there is a beautiful saying in English. It says, what doesn't kill you make you stronger. So that's for the second people, that they go through some difficulties, they go through some challenges, but they come out stronger. What about the other people that they get old, they get broken after a challenge? They said what doesn't kill you slowly. What doesn't kill you slowly. So, what kind of a darkness is talking about the Torah and the Zohar? Why after a challenge some people get old, broken, and some people they grow out of it? It has to do with our belief system. In reality, doesn't matter how many times we mention it in Kabbalah, we always say that darkness doesn't exist. There is nothing by the light. There is nothing by the light. There is nothing by the goodness. But of course, there are challenges. Of course, there are darkness, there are obstacles, there are health issues. So it has to do with our perception. It has to do with the way we look at it. If we look at it as a dark, black, I'm emphasizing on the color black here. If you look at it as a dark, black issue, it's going to hurt us. It's going to make us older. But if you look at it as an opportunity, no matter how harsh it is, if you look at it as a lesson for me to grow, to elevate myself, to become stronger, to become smarter, then it won't hurt us. We all make fun of me that about funeral and about chat. If our belief system telling us that this is the end, this is a death, this is sad, it's going to hurt us. We're going to be under darkness. That's what the Pharaoh tells us. Again, we go back to Pharaoh. He says, look at this guy. He was here today. He's not here anymore. But if we switch our perception, if we switch our belief system, that there is no end, there is no dark, there is no black, there's only light, then we can preserve, then we can bring light to our life and our system. This is a very good secret to avoid aging. So we go back to these two words, nature, Elohim, the limited world, or the spiritual world. If every experience that I go through life, all the upside downs, the health and whatever, the challenges, the relationships, if I look at it as a bad thing, then I'm under darkness and it's going to hurt me. But every situation is very tough. Opportunity to grow, the potential to grow. It's good for me. It was designed for me. This is an illusion. There is a good lesson behind it. Then this body is going to be healthy, happy. We are not going to attract accidents or sicknesses or darkness. The whole lessons of this month, remember we started the class with the month of Aquarius. All the water, all the light, all the blessing is available. The bucket with water is pouring on us. But do you want to believe in a black and dark and sad and negative and impossible, or you want to believe like it's coming from my Creator? There's a lesson behind it. There is a purpose behind it. It's for my own good. Then that bucket of water of blessing is going to come to me. We have to remind you that two similar things attract each other. If I believe in darkness and black and end, that's what I'm going to attract. End, darkness, black. But whatever it is in front of me, Baruch Hashem, there is something I don't understand. It's dark up here. I don't get it. I want to learn. So where is the light hidden behind it? So in the Torah says, whoever was in darkness was destroyed. It was gone forever, died. But Bnei Israel, that they believe in Moshe and they believe in the Creator, they walk away to freedom. They give a very good example. I love this example. They said you take a sour fruit. A fruit is not ready yet. And you take a bite, it's sour. Apple, orange, that it's not fully developed, you take a bite, it tastes horrible. But if you wait 2-3 weeks, it's sweet, it tastes like heaven. So the Kabbalah says, whatever sour you go through your daily life, it's just the beginning of the process, or you are through the process. You are not in the end yet, Just let the process, go with the process. And if I believe in the darkness, if I let this Pharaoh to run the show, then I'm gonna distance the salvation more and more. But if the more light I inject into the situation, the end result gonna come to me sooner. They said our tikkun is to change the area in our life. This is like the main tikkun that we have. Any area that we believe in darkness, we believe in end, we believe in disease, we believe in bad luck, bad BRE, we have to change it to good, to light. So it says every situation we have to look at as in progress. It's not evolved yet. It's not end result yet. Remember the sour fruit. How many situations in your life you remember? It looks so sour. It looks so bad. But look at it after a few years. I was a little kid, They put me in Israel, at 9 years old. I was the darkest moment of my life, but I ended up learning Hebrew. I end up learning so much, and look at the fruit. What a sweet fruit. So every situation in your life is a process, is a progress. Now let's move to the 10th plague, the last plague. What was the last plague? The 10th plague? So it sounds so cruel that the Creator kill all the firstborn of the Egypt. It sounds so horrible, so cruel. But there is something in Kabbalah says, Ze l'umat ze. Everything is good and bad, darkness and light. In every aspect of life, there is left and right. So when it says he killed the firstborn, it's the firstborn of the negative side. He killed the firstborn of the Pharaoh. It destroyed the firstborn of Pharaoh. Let's read from the Zohar before we're going to explain. We are in book number 9, page 111, section 222. Don't cross your hands, don't cross your legs. If you don't have the book, just listen to the Hebrew Aramaic letters and we're going to explain more. 222. Page 111, 222. Hachi ilat ha'alot, avir 10 sefirot, וקרא לכתר מקור, וביעל ליד סוף לנביאות דנהוריה, ובגד קרא לגרמיה אין סוף, וליד דמות וצורה, וטמן ליד מענה למטפס ליד, למינדה ביה ידיעה כלל, ובגד אמרו ביה, במופלא ממך אל תדרוש ומכוסה ממך אל תחקור. So the cause of the causes made 10 sefirot and called Keter the source. And there is no end to the wheeling of its light. Therefore he called himself endlesses, and he has no likeness or image. The firstborn, what is the firstborn that the Torah is talking about? What is the firstborn? You said, I'm a firstborn and you are the secondborn. I'm first, you're second. In life, this is something the Pharaoh tells us. This negative force in our head tells us, I want you to be the first. I want you to be the first in your class, the first in your community. I want you to be the most successful. Look at our society. I want to be the biggest, the richest, the biggest house, the best car, the best looking. It's all about I. When the Torah is talking about the firstborn, it's talking about the illusion of I, like me, like it's all about me. After this plague, the Pharaoh let the Israelites go, right? After the 10th plague, they become free. So what is the Zohar trying to teach us? He says this I, this Pharaoh that's telling me that you have to be the best. You have to be the number one. You have to do the best that, in your society, comparing to other people. Constantly compare yourself to others. I want to be like you, and I want to be like that, and I want this, and I want that. So, what the Torah is trying to teach us is to eliminate this illusionary I. Also, there is a negative aspect to it. I'm sad, I don't have money, I don't have house, I don't have so many things. He says, eliminate this I from yourself. He says, in reality, this I is limiting us. This I is limiting us to our perception. We want so many things, but who knows better, the Creator or you? You have to give a chance, see what the Creator wants for you. It's not what you want, it's what the universe, what the Creator wants for you. In Hebrew, I is ani. And what it says up here, like the highest level of spirituality is Ein Sof. That's the concept of Hitch, Amir Jun, or Ephes in Hebrew. So Ani is I, and En is limitless, is one of the names of the Creator. When I say I limit myself to the very small, itsy bitsy, my dark consciousness. But when I stop saying I connecting myself to the endless, to the limitless of the power of the Creator. What the Zohar says? It says the Keter doesn't have no face, doesn't have no dmut, shekl nadare, form nadare. So, do I look myself, I want to be rich and successful and happy, and I want it all for myself in my limited, or I want to connect to the endless form, limitless. This is like total Kabbalah, when you look at the letters, Nun is the selfishness. Nun is the desire to receive for self alone. Nefilah. So it's like Aleph, selfishness, then the light of the God. But if you look at the other way around, first is Aleph, then the Creator, limitless, and then it's me. So before I want to say you want to put the Creator, before it comes to you. So this Pharaoh played this game in our head. What God? You can't see God. Where is God? Where is spirituality? Where is goodness? Where is honesty? There is no love. There is no joy. There is no caring. Take care of yourself. It's I. That's what the Pharaoh says. That's why we're trying to destroy in our head. So the I can hurt us in both ways. if you are successful or if you are not so successful. You know, we look at ourselves as poor me. So it's eliminate the I. To summarize the class, you know, we all starts with the I. You know, what's so special about Moshe? Why Moshe reached such a highest level? What did we call him? He was the most humble person, enough. Moshe never says I. That's why he reached such a high level. By not saying I is first to understand that I have a purpose, there is a reason, it's not, the physical world is an illusion, I want to connect to the endless, formless energy. And it's not about selfishness and receiving for the self alone only. Each time we want something for ourselves, respect, it's my property, my life, my happiness, then we limit ourselves to a very itsy-bitsy tiny place. But when we want it for all, then we are connected to that endless power. The I never gets full. That's a beautiful lesson. When you say I, it never gets full. Do you know anybody that has all the money, all the health, all the happiness, has it all? This I never gets full. But when you're connecting yourself, you know, I'm part of this universe, I'm with all of you, whatever I have, you know, I share, whatever I know, I share. It's not about me, it's not about hiding, it's about sharing. Then we connect to this limitless. Then we are always full. Humble people, they never complain, they never sad, they never say, I don't have money. Humble people don't say, I don't have this. They're full. They're full of this channel of spirituality. So bring the class to the end. Also, this Zohar talks about tefillin. Actually, that's more important. You know, next week portion, Bashalach, we're going to study about the 72 names of God that is made of the Hebrew letters. One of the secrets that the Zohar tells us, that's what can help us to eliminate this Pharaoh, these three things that we mentioned. Appreciating people in our past. Come out of this dark thing and destroying the I, what can help us is the Hebrew alphabet. What's the name of the book that we are reading in the Torah right now? Shemot, means names. What are the names? It's the Hebrew alphabet. And if you pay attention to the Torah, God says, Be'otototai. God says, with my signs I'm going to get you free. With the Hebrew alphabet I'm going to get you free. So the Zohar tells us the Hebrew alphabet help us to raise above this negative force of the Pharaoh. Studying the Hebrew alphabet, learning the Hebrew alphabet, scanning the Zohar, reading the Torah. 72 names that next week we're going to learn is all miracles. They're coming out of the Hebrew letters. The Shema Yisrael. The Zohar says put on the tefillin every morning for the man. That's what is going to help you to raise above this Pharaoh. We said where this Pharaoh is hiding, in our head, right? Where do we put the tefillin? On our head. The only remedy for this Pharaoh or this darkness or ignorance and disease in our head is the Hebrew alphabet, and for the men to put on the tefillin. To summarize the class, we want to be aware of few things. To be aware to push away dark. Anything dark come to us, we push it away. I don't believe in this challenge. I don't believe in this negative situation. The death is not there. The end is not there. There is no sickness. Push away darkness. And Amir Jr., you're so amazing. I think about you all the time when I learn this because you teach me how to push away darkness. The second thing is, of course, being the channeling of light. What is the channeling of light? It's constantly inspiring people, helping people, share the blessing, things. Empower people.